Good evening, world. Unfortunately, I can officially now say it. Today will be the last video in my Miscellaneous series, world. So I hope you guys I know you guys all remember when I started my Miscellaneous series back in 2019. When I started about talking about my book, and then I started talking about what self-publishing, traditional publishing. I kicked it off with that video, that amazing video, obviously. Then that led to Sky Source. Look how far Ivan has come, obviously. Yeah, Ivan, I remember when you started your Miscellaneous series 2 years ago. Yep. 2 years ago, I started Miscellaneous series. And now the Miscellaneous series is coming to an end, guys. As the countdown has now ticked, today will be the last and final video. I'm not kidding around. Well, you guys see footage, you know I'm not playing around. Today is the last day. I'm Ivan O'Mara on YouTube, guys. And this series that you see now will be missed for generations to follow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this series, obviously. And today I'm actually going to say, when I end my video, I'm actually going to say, this is Ivan O'Mara, officially peacing out for good. I hope you will enjoy this series. I hope you guys learn from your evil and wickedness. I wish you guys made the right choice for me and my wife were born and not separate us and cause this fucked up mess in my life that I have to pay. Because you guys don't see the price I have to pay to be with my wife because you're reputable people, obviously. You're blind. Because you're so blind by your envy and you don't see your evil, you guys don't see the price I have to pay to be with my wife because you're wicked people, obviously. And after me causing that mess and killing me to be with my wife and trapping me, shaking her death, you keep me and her behind the scenes. You sabotage our channel. You somehow think I'm going to take my time to save you. You can't have your full cake. No, man. You made me pay to be my wife. You're also going to pay too. You're going to be left behind in bad, my God. And to put the icing on the cake, you want to keep me and her behind the scenes because you can't see, because you see hell. And as you reap what you sow, me and her will be kept behind because you can't have your full cake, man. Only way I'll ever save you is if you put my stats on and talk about me in the public eye, but you're not going to do that because you see hell. Okay, if you want to be selfish, we can be selfish together. I'm not making any live videos for you on the Cyberhouse channel ever again. This series that you see now will be Miss Generation Fall. I'm going to say this series will be Miss Generation Fall. I hope I entertain you guys. This is Ivan O'Mara. I'm officially signing out. Peace. And once I say I'm officially signing out, peace, I am done. Yes, I'm Ivan. You're going to miss your videos. Of course I'm going to miss my videos. As making videos is very fun, obviously. But I told you, I'm not going to let you do like that. You can't have your full cake. This is it for Ivan O'Mara. Because I know once I let my family know your true demonic nature will show. I'm going to find out how wicked you really are. Once I find out how wicked you are and I cry my eyes, I am never making any videos forever again. All I'm going to think about is just getting this video over with and seeing my wife, man. Seeing my fucking beautiful wife. And living the life with her and being king, you know what I'm saying? And being king, obviously. That's all I'm going to think about when I pay this fee, man. As when I pay this fee, you're going to see trends of me. On what? Trends of me on, you're going to see some pictures of me trending on Twitter, obviously. That's why I created a Twitter account. You guys know, I created my own Twitter account. I posted a few pictures of myself because I know that once I pay this fee, you're going to see trending pictures of me on downtown Ottawa. And those pictures are going to get me through it, obviously, when I pay this fee. Now, while I pay this fee, I'm going to get a laugh out of my old videos, watch VJ's interviews on YouTube. She did an Instagram live this year. I'll watch that. Might watch her interview she did in Hollywood, that kind of stuff, to keep me going. That's how you know when I pay this fee, I'm going to be thinking about Victoria Justice. I'm going to be thinking about her every day, obviously. And I'm not going to let any of these women get a piece of my heart. They may get some casual. I may have a few one night stands with them, and they may confess their love for me. But look, man, this is just sex. I don't have any feelings for you. I don't even know who you are. The only reason why I'm having sex with you is because you forced me to have sex with you. I will mess up a little bit, obviously, as these women are cats. Just women are cats. But my point is, because I'm God, I'm not going to let any of these women get a piece of my heart. No fucking way. I know. I might have maybe one night stand, but I'm not going to constantly go home with the same woman and fuck her for like a month. Otherwise, if you do that, you will develop feelings for the girl. You will start to love her and all that stuff. You fuck a girl for 3 weeks, 1 month, you're going to start developing. You're guaranteed you're going to start developing feelings for the girl. And that's what VJ did. VJ kept fucking the guys for weeks. She was fucking stupid, obviously. She pisses me off so much. You know, oh, Ivan, the guy was too attractive. He's too hot. I'm like, okay, if I can fight the woman off, you can fight them off, VJ. The fact that I can fight them off, you can fight them off. Even the men in Hollywood know, yeah, VJ, even though we're dogs and we're animals, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to hook up with the guys, have a couple one night stands. It's another thing to hook up with them for like a month or so or 3 weeks, and you develop feelings for them. And you start to love them and all that stuff. Because VJ was stupid. As to hook up with them, you have to go home with them, obviously. And VJ made the choice to go home with them. And fuck them. When VJ could have easily said, no, I'm not going to go home with you today. And she made the choice to go home with them because she's fucking stupid. Because Victoria Justice pisses me the fuck off, man. Anyways, enough me babbling on. Today, guys, will be the final part of my Miscellaneous series. I'm going to continue my story. I hope you guys enjoy my videos. Oh my god, that was interesting hearing your story. I mean, yeah, interesting hearing my story. Obviously, all throughout my life, my teachers put me down. You know what I'm saying? I met quite a few rich people in my life. You did, yep. I met quite a few rich people in my life, obviously, but yet the whole time I found with gatekeepers, and I'm still got rich and all these people in my house, obviously. So yesterday I gave you my story from when I was a kid to when I finished high school. That was pretty much my life. I said how after high school all my friends abandoned me pretty much. So after prom, after I got smashed in the face with Billboard at prom in 2009, when I was in grade 11, obviously when high school ended, I hung out with my so-called best friend for a good like 6 months after that. And the other guys, I didn't. The other guy who was rich, my rich friend who had a rich father who owned that huge golf course. I never hung out with him after high school. After that, obviously, me and him were only tight during high school. And my so-called best friend, I hung out with him for a good like 6 months. So from summertime to like the end of 2009, towards New Year's of 2010, I hung out with my so-called best friend. And then in 2010, we went to this New Year's party. I told you my story. And the guy who worked at that gas station, who bragged about that rich owner, he came with us. He picked me up. He picked me up at my house and he drove me to my so-called friend's house, obviously. We went to this party, this French party. Obviously, and that was when I bought these nice shoes. My shoes got jacked, obviously. I told my friends, well, my shoe got jacked and no one cared. That's how I knew my friends, they weren't my real friends, obviously. As if I had a friend, his shoes got jacked, I would at least show some interest. Yo, I'll help you find it, man. I would help him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? My friends didn't even care. Because they're fucking evil, man. Anyways, now one guy who worked at that gas station who bragged about how rich that owner was, he's like, yo, Ivan, let's go to this other party, you know what I'm saying? This English party. Because the party I went to was a French party. Ivan, let's go to this other party, you know what I'm saying? Just me and you know what I'm saying? Because the other guys didn't want to go. I decided to stay, and the guy just left. He left on his own, and he went to another English party. I should have went to the English party with him, obviously. Yeah, and that New Year's Day. That was the last time I ever saw my that guy ever. I saw him a couple years ago, like in 2016, when I was when I was an adult hanging out at the bar. He just said hi to me. Hey Ivan, how you doing, man? Like, oh, how's life, man? My life's not bad. You know, what you doing right now? That's pretty much he just said a quick hi and that's it. I talked to him. He's like, yeah, I bought a house. That guy who I met, um, the guy who worked at the gas station, who bragged about that rich owner. He told me, he's like, yeah, he got married. He has a kid. And he bought a house, like a nice house here in Elmer, a nice like fucking house here in Elmer. Because I remember because he did trades, like electricity trades, and he told me, yeah, I'm gonna be making like $80,000 a year by the time I'm 25. So the guy's obviously successful. He's probably making a good 80, 90, $100,000 a year. He's successful, obviously. And he bought his own house here in Elmer, obviously. I'm like, oh, nice, man. You bought your own house? He's like, yeah, man, I bought my own house, I'm saying. And yeah. And after that New Year's party, my so-called best friend, I pretty much never hung out with him after that. I saw him maybe one time after that. Maybe a couple times after that. I also hung out with this other guy who was also my friend, too. I hung out with him in grade 10 too, in early 2010. In 2009, I hung out with him as well as 2010. I hung out with him, and I also what? And hung out with him, and I also what? I went clubbing with one guy one time alone. This guy, he's like, "Oh, Ivan, let's go clubbing together." And I went with him, and we went clubbing together. He paid for my alcohol, everything. I remember that moment. That guy was chill. 2010, I went clubbing with him. I got drunk with him. And I met some of the women in Darcy and that kind of stuff. I met one of the guys. Hey, Ivan, what's up, man? Not much, man. I went clubbing with the other guy. Yeah, I remember that. In like 2010, I went clubbing like one time, early 2010. And and yeah, and then my so-called friend, I never hung out with him. I never hung out with him afterwards. And then I saw Iron Man with him in the summertime, like when that's it. Now since that day, I've never hung out with my so-called best friend, and since then I've been a loner pretty much. So all my friends abandoned me after high school. After, after like 6 months after high school, all my friends pretty much abandoned me, and I became a loner. And I hung out on my own, obviously. And I thought I had these. Ivan, why do you think you had these? I'll tell you my story. I was stupid when I sometimes when I took a piss outside, I would wipe. I was used to wiping my penis with Kleenex and all stuff. When I took my piss outside, sometimes I would wipe it with leaves. I would take leaves and then wipe it. I'm like, Ivan, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a yeast infection on my penis. Obviously, a yeast infection. So white stuff was on my penis, obviously. Fishy smell too, yeast infection. And I was depressed, and I thought I had a disease for like for like 8 years. Holy shit, Ivan, you went through that? Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? And I remember in 2010, I started growing stuff inside my penis. I thought it was, oh my god, is this herpes? It wasn't herpes. It was celestial seasonings. The reason why my immune system reacted to the yeast infection, I started growing the stuff on my sides to what? To clear out the yeast infection, and now my penis is nice and fresh. I don't smell any fish anymore. It's nice and fresh. You know what I'm saying? Before it smelled a little bit like it had a little fishy smell because I had a yeast infection, obviously. And eventually, what I did was I pulled out my foreskin and I dried out my penis, and the yeast infection went away eventually. But I was still depressed because I saw this stuff on the side of my penis. I'm like, is this herpes? For 8 years, I was depressed. I thought I had a disease, and I cried tears for it. Obviously, I was very very depressed. Obviously, right. In 2010, I worked at Coors. Obviously, I worked at Quiznos. Obviously, Quiznos. Obviously, and I used that money. The money that I made for Quiznos, I bought movies like Twilight, all that stuff. Twilight, bought a bunch of movies. Obviously, I bought my PS3 and I bought games, played games, and I would watch movies and then order food. I just worked, watched movies, order food, and play games on my PS3 pretty much. And my stepfather kept breaking all my movies and kept breaking all my games. Obviously, he's like, do good with your life, Ivan. They kept putting me down. Ivan, do something good with your life. At this time, I was an adult ed. I was still in school. I was an adult ed doing my adult ed. While I was working at Quizzles, I was an adult ed. I was an adult ed. I was an adult ed doing finishing up my school, obviously. Right. So it took me a year and a half to finish my school after high school. A year and a half. So I did my grade 11 French. I did my grade 11 French, my grade 11 English, my grade 10 history, my grade 10 English. I did careers. Careers, yeah, careers. I got like a 60 something in careers. I slacked off with careers. I got like a 60 something in careers. And that was enough for me to get mine. After that I finished late 2010 high school, and I got my diploma early 2020. I got my high school diploma early 2011 when I just turned 19, obviously. So I finished when I was 18, late 2010. I got my high school diploma early 2011. I remember my stepmother was like, Ivan, you got your diploma. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my god, I got my high school diploma. And she ordered pizza for me. She bought cheesecake. So I remember that. But I was very depressed. So I thought I had a disease. My friends all abandoned me. And this is why I didn't know I was God. I didn't know Ouija was my wife, and I didn't know the doors were locked on me, obviously. You see what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. And I went to the strip later on that year. I went to the strip club for the first time with one of my friends. The friend who was my close friend from grade 7. I went to the strip club with him for the first time in 2010. In 2010, I went to strip club with him one time, obviously, in the fall of 2010. Obviously, I remember that. Obviously, and then I hung out with him that day. Obviously, and after that, I never hung out with him afterwards. All my friends abandoned me after high school. Yeah, I hung out with people a few times during the 8, 10 years, whatever it is. But my point is, I was a loner. I didn't really have any friends to hang out with. No, I was a loner. I hung out on my own. When I saw movies on my own. I see it with my stepbrother sometimes, but most of the time, I saw movies on my own. I saw all the big movies that came out. I go to Almer Cinema and like see it on my own. Go to Rainbow Cinema in Ottawa, see it on my own. See what I'm saying here? Yeah. Obviously, I told you I cried tears because I thought I had an STD. I was depressed, obviously, and so to imagine thinking you have, I don't know, you have some bad disease for 8 years. You're fucking depressed. Yeah, I went through a lot in my life, man. And my so-called friends abandoned me, obviously. And so during this time, I was working. I was finishing up my school, my adult ed education, obviously. obviously, and I was finishing up my higher education, obviously, and then late 2010. I remember this. My stepfather, because my stepfather hated me, I even do something good with your life. Take school seriously, even though they lock doors because they're fucking evil. Because my family hate me so much, I remember my stepfather, he kept taking my PS3, hiding my PS3. He's like, I even do something good with your life. He took my PS3, you know, and he took the DVD player, so I can't watch movies. He also took away the internet cord, because the guy's fucking crazy, man. Holy shit, your step parents treat you like shit. Yeah, man, they treat me like shit. Took the DVD cord, took my PS3, took the internet cord. And one day I'm like, oh my god, there's nothing to do here. This is late 2010, obviously, and something just told me to write a book. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write this Islamic book. I wrote a book. I wrote 4 chapters of that book called Apostasy, and I wrote the book, obviously, and that's what led me to writing Zanus, obviously. Again, God protected my journey. This is why I didn't know the doors were locked on me, man. You know what I'm saying? God protected my journey, obviously, and I read what? I started writing that book, obviously. I wrote the book for a good year, and I stopped writing, and I ended up writing Last of Us instead. I ended up writing the Last of Us story, obviously. So from late 2010 to late 2011, I wrote the Apostasy book. I wrote a good 4 chapters of that book, 30,000 words around there. And I remember my stepbrother was, hey, Ivan, like, you shouldn't write a book about this Islamic book. You might offend Muslims, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know how crazy Muslims are when you. So pretty much, my book was about a guy. I'll tell you what. What was your story about? It was about pretty much. There's this guy. He had a powerful father. His son was raising him. His father was raising him and his younger brother to be an imam, obviously. And he has a wife, and he has a what? He has a sister and a mother, and his father treats his mother and sister like shit, obviously. And the guy is blinded by what? By eventually he what? He's fed up with it, and he ends up running away with his family. So his brother and his father are evil to his mother and sister, obviously, but he's the only one who shows some mercy, obviously, to them. And he ends up finding out that the Quran is a wicked book, it's an evil book, and he ends up running away with his family. And he converts to Christianity, he ends up running away with his family, and his father's so powerful, he sends men to find them and all stuff to kill them. Like, oh my god, that sounds like an amazing story. Yeah, that was my idea for the story. Because at the time, at this time I still believed in Jesus. I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos about the Bible, Muhammad, Jesus, the debates. I watch a shitload of debates on YouTube about Jesus, Muhammad, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I used to watch all that stuff. I was a what? I even debated one guy. You guys know I had the keys. You guys saw this debate. I remember one time I made my own blog and I used to do like apologetics for. I was under the name John Dawson. John Dawson, obviously, and I used to do apologetics, defending the Bible and all that stuff. I debated one guy about Bible contradictions. You guys saw that debate. Yeah, we saw the debate. Yeah, I have the keys. You guys know. I debate. You know what I'm talking about. I debated that guy about the what? About Bible contradictions. I own that guy, man. I fucking owned him. You know what I'm saying, don't hate me. You know what I'm saying, I own the guy. Holy shit, Ivan, you're talented. Yeah, I'm naturally gifted. Like, I can do apologetics. I can rap. I can sing. I can act. I can write books. I can do stand-up comedy. God blessed me with a natural gift, man. I can even do apologetics, man. I remember I read myself. Like, holy shit, I'm fucking good. You know what I'm saying? If I studied the Bible, I'd kill it in the apologetic industry. Yeah, man, I'd kill it. But I told you the Bible's fantasy and it's not real, obviously. But this is when I thought the Bible was truly real. This is when I thought the Bible was I thought Jesus was God and all stuff. I was lost. See what I'm saying here? In 2013, I started doing those apologetic. I started doing that apologetic stuff. 2013, 2014. You can still find it on Google online. My all my apologetic stuff from 2013, 2014 online. You find it online, obviously. Obviously, right? Yeah. So 2011, I finally got my high school diploma. I finished in 2010, obviously. But I got my high school diploma in early 2011, obviously. I was so happy. I'm like, oh my god, I finished my high school. Shut that grade 6 teacher up for good, man. I fucking finished my high school. Finished my high school. And I passed most of my class. I passed a lot of my courses better than. I got better marks than a lot of guys in Darcy, man. For English and history. Yeah, man. As most people in Darcy probably got like 60s, 70s in English. It's just 60s in English, you know what I'm saying? And then the smart people can get like their 80s and 70s and 90s, obviously. I got really good marks for grade 11 English and history, obviously. Obviously, right? And then 2011, I applied. I was still 2011. By this time, I quit Quiznos. I quit Quiznos, obviously, and I applied to Algonquin College, and I went to college in fall of 2011. And I took the Police Foundation course. Obviously, the Police Foundation is a course where like it's a good course. If you want to be a police officer, it's a good course to be a police officer. It's also a good course. It's also a good course for it's also a good course for university, taking like sociology, criminology. It's a good course to go to university too. Obviously, I took police foundation for one semester and I dropped out of school. Obviously, and I was a loner. At Algonquin College, I was a loner. I was a fucking loner at Algonquin College. Obviously, I was a fucking loner. Obviously, Algonquin College, and I remember the summer of 2011. I saw Transformers 3 on theaters. I remember that. My family wanted to go on a vacation in Kingston. I didn't want to go. They left me like $30, left me some food, and I ended up what? I ended up watching Transformers 3 on theaters. I remember that, obviously. And at this time, I was depressed, man. 'Cause I thought I had an STD. I was fucking depressed. Because I had this like white yeast infection on my penis. It was just a small yeast infection. It healed up beautifully, obviously. So think about this. Throughout this whole time, I didn't know I was gay. I didn't know I had a wife. I didn't know if he was my wife, obviously. And I thought I had an STD and I was depressed. And I cried tears about it. Yeah, I cried heavy tears, obviously. And while I'm crying all these heavy tears, I'm lost. Victoria Justice is fucking Ryan Rahman during Victoria. Because Victoria Justice is something else, man. She fucking pisses me off, man. Ivan, I knew you were lost. I knew you were suffering. I knew what you were going through. But fuck, man, you're never gonna know what happened in Hollywood. I'm just gonna date Ryan Rahman and fuck him. Yeah, because VJ's fucking something else, man. She pisses me the fuck off, man. Yeah, man. Anyways, long story short, in 2011, I ended up dropping out of college. Algonquin College in 2011. So I took after the first semester, I dropped out. I didn't even do barely my homework, and I ended up dropping out. Obviously, I told you, even if I worked my ass off, it wouldn't have made a difference as the doors were locked on me. Obviously, I remember the teacher called me up. Hey, Ivan, are you gonna come to school for second semester? I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna come to school for second semester. I'm saying she knew the doors were locked on me. That's how wicked you guys are, man. You knew the doors were locked. I remember my stepmother yelled at me. Ivan, don't skip school. Take school seriously. Don't you dare skip school. She was yelling at me like crazy, honestly. Yet the whole time they knew the doors were locked. That's how wicked. That's when I say in the Bible that Satan disguised himself as an angel of light. It's a symbol of the Seth family. The Seth families are beyond wicked people, man. They know they lock the doors. I mean, they have the guts to yell at me for skipping school and Ivan, take school seriously. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We don't want you to be a failure in life. Do something good with your life. Look at Ron. Look at your two brothers. You know what I'm saying? They're successful. You know what I'm saying? You're what? You're what? You're what? You're a failure in life. Yet the whole time the doors were locked. Yeah, because they're fucking wicked people, man. They're evil fucking people. Yeah, evil people, man. Obviously. Right, and I even yelled back at them. Me yelling at them was me being righteous. I'm like, shut up, leave me alone. I'm saying, you guys are fucking evil. You guys are evil people, man. You always put me down. You always they even threaten me. If you don't smarten up, I'm gonna call the cops to take you away and all that stuff. If you don't smarten up with your life, Ivan, I'm gonna call the cops and they're gonna take you away. Obviously, you don't smarten up with your life, and the whole time they lock the doors on me because they're wicked devils. Obviously, they're evil people. Obviously, and that's why once I make that announcement, I find out how rich they are. I'm gonna have a flashback of life all the times they yelled at me. You know what I'm saying? All the time. That's why I set everything up about I didn't reach our guarantee gonna peace out. Yeah, man. I'm gonna have that flashback when we lived in that shitty apartment. All the times they yelled at me for taking, all the times they yelled at me and putting me down for being a failure in life. My whole life they put me down. Ivan, you're a failure in life. That they fucking lock the doors because they hate me so much. Obviously, you see what I'm saying? Here? Huge arguments I had in my step family. So all the times I yelled at them, that was me being righteous because they're fucking devils, man. They're wicked people, man. They're evil people, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so late 2011, I'm not gonna write this Islamic apostasy book anymore. Let me write a fantasy story. And I remember I started brainstorming, and I came up with all these characters: Papyrus, Sirius, Cornelius. Because I'm a creative genius, I came up with all these ideas. I'm like the North, the South, the Upper Lands, the Lower Lands, the Forest of Galactic. I came up with this idea of the world, and that led me to write Zanus. So I started brainstorming in 2011, but I didn't start penning. I didn't start writing down the prologue until 2013. So I slacked off for like 2 years. And in 2012, I pretty much worked. 2012, I worked. I pretty much what I did in 2012 was I worked. I worked jobs. I played video games. I played my PS3. Played my PS3 obviously. I watched movies. I ordered a bunch of food. That's what I did in 2012 pretty much. I worked and I just bought food and watched movies and played games. And I saw movies on theaters, that kind of stuff. I remember seeing The Hobbit on theaters. The Hobbit. I saw the second and third Hobbit on theaters. I didn't see the first one on theaters. But I saw the second and third Hobbit on theaters in 2013. I was saying that's pretty much what I did during 2012, 2013. And that family kept coming over for Christmas from 2001 to 2013, pretty much. The family came over to our house for Christmas. We go there, they come to our house for Christmas. Obviously, we also had a lot of barbecues, and they went swimming at our house a lot of times too. The family all remembers who I am. Obviously, they all remember who I am. Obviously. So by this time, all my so-called friends abandoned me. Obviously, and everyone now in Darcy all moved on into their life, obviously, into their career, obviously. As all the guys who I went to school with in Darcy, a lot of them have kids, a lot of them are married, and a lot of them are working like good jobs, making 50, 60, 70, $80,000, even $100,000 a year, whatever it is. They're all working jobs. A lot of them got married, a lot of them bought a house, obviously. I'm the only one in Darcy who's like a failure right now. But once I pay this fee, I'm gonna be king. I'm gonna be a multi-billionaire. Yeah. That's why all my so-called friends. That's why all my friends banned me after high school because they didn't because they knew, yeah, what after high school we're all gonna go into our own separate paths. We're all gonna go into our own careers, and we know Ivan has the keys. All Ivan has to do is write his own book. He has to be a billionaire. Yeah. That's why they all treat me like shit, obviously. Right? Ivan, it's so cool hearing your story. Yeah, this is my story, obviously. So I brainstormed in 2011, my last Zane's book, and I didn't start writing the prologue until 2013. That was when I started writing the prologue. The prologue that I wrote was okay. I ended up changing up the prologue. I deleted and I ended up rewriting the prologue, obviously. My point was that I started writing my book, obviously, in 2013. I wrote the whole prologue, obviously, and then from 2013 to 2015, 2013 to 2015, by that time I wrote a good like 4 chapters of my book. So I'd write like one chapter a year or something like that. So starting from 2013 to 2015, I wrote like 1.5 chapters like a year or whatever it is. By the time, remember when I made that video, I'm currently writing a novel. I'm like, yeah, I'm on chapter 4. Yeah, I wrote a good 4 chapters at that time of my novel, obviously. Again, during this time, I did not know about VJ, and I did not know about what. I did not know about me. I didn't know I was God. I didn't know I was God. And during this time, I was on and off working jobs. You know what I'm saying? Doing the usual, watching movies, playing my video games, and ordering a lot of food. That's what I did for 2013, 2014, 2015. I did all that, obviously. And I saw movies on theaters too, like The Hobbit. I saw The Hobbit on theaters. The Desolation of Smog and Battle of High Armies. I saw those 2 movies on theaters. I saw a lot of movies on theaters, obviously. And again, during this time, I was very depressed. I thought I had an STD. I was very depressed, obviously. And in 2014 is when I started going to the strip clubs. So from 2014 to 2018, I started going to the strip clubs. I would go like 4 or 5 times every year for 4 years. So I'd go to the strip club like 5 times a year. I grind with a couple strippers. I had very, very dear lap dances, obviously. I also remember one time I went to this huge African party. This guy was like an ambassador in Africa. Holy shit, Ivan, you met a lot of rich people. Yes. I went to this guy's house. He had a mini mansion in Ottawa. It wasn't like a huge mansion, it was a mini mansion. It was a $1 million house. $1.2 million house, whatever it is. A fucking nice house. A huge African feast. All you can eat chicken, all that stuff. I went to that house, you know what I'm saying? And that man, that African man, he was like an ambassador. He was fucking rich. I went to his house. We had a huge feast at his house. Yeah. I remember the one guy he talked to my stepfather. Hey, what do you do? He's like, I work. I'm a toxicologist with the government. And the whole time my family were acting, they don't really work for the government. They're the fucking gatekeepers. They fucking dupe me, man. They dupe me so well, man. Yeah, man. That's why I'm pacing the fuck out of this. I'm not gonna just do like that, man. I set everything up where I and Vija are guaranteed. As when I made that final announcement, and I let my stepfamily know. So on November 16th, guys, 2 days from now, I'm gonna let my stepfamily know I am done my book. I'm going to let them know that I'm done my book, and eventually they're gonna sing us. So once I find out how wicked they are, and I find out how rich they are, I'm gonna have that flashback of my life, man. Like, what the fuck? I got played, man. You know what I'm saying? I cry my eyes, I pay this fee, and once I'm king, they're left behind and not saved. Yeah, I'm living a life now with my wife. And VJ will be so shocked. She's guaranteed gonna have. I'm not gonna scare. I'm not gonna say make a prediction. Say she's gonna have. Like I cannot see VJ not having an argument with her family. Just like I'm gonna have an argument with my family when I fight for my rights. Guaranteed VJ's gonna have that argument with her mother. She finds out how rich her. She's like, what the fuck? So you had me pay the bills in the house when you could have easily paid the bills for me. And you only it makes sense. So you only wanted me to be points that caused his life. Yeah, VJ's gonna figure it all out. Yeah, man. So they're fucking evil, man. That's why and you left me out of your lavish life. The Seth families left. They left me out of their lavish life for 30 years. So behind the scenes, you chill at your nice condo. You know what I'm saying? You chill at your nice mansion. You leave me working. You left me out working minimum wage because you hate me so much. You have the guts to yell at me when you know the doors are locked. I mean, when I'm king, we're billionaires. You're also left out of our lavish life and you're not saved. Yeah, you're left out of our glory in our lavish life and you're not saved, obviously. So even the step families, even though they're fucking wealthy, you know what I'm saying, because I and Reach are king queen, even they still feel like shit. Yeah, even though we're rich and we're living this amazing life, I and Reach are living the billionaire life and they're the king queen, the main show animal. They feel like shit. Yeah, obviously, right? Feel like shit, obviously. I'm a count here.